Hey everybody, it's Frank Bernardo, and today we're going to talk about the recruiting appointment. I have been recruiting for about 10 years or so. I've held assistant team leader positions, manager positions. I've done a lot of sitting in front of people and trying to get them to join my brokerage. Now, over time, well, let's back it up a little bit. I actually was never formally trained to recruit people. I was recruited by somebody who was an amazing recruiter. His numbers were crazy. And I thought I was going to get all this awesome training on how to recruit people. And what ended up happening is I got nothing. I had to figure it out on my own. My first full year as a team leader recruiting people, I ended up recruiting 111 agents. I'm going to tell you how I did that. What I want you to take from this, I want you to take from everything I tell you. Don't do it like I do it. Take the information and do it that way, like you do it. Like, do it to the best of, internalize everything I give you and then do it your way. That's going to be the best way to do it, because I am massively different than a lot of people. I'm very aggressive. I'm very proactive. I'll ask questions that a lot of people won't ask. And so I don't want you to mimic me unless you think you can pull off what I do or whatever. The best way you're going to be successful is if you do it your way, but understanding the way that I do it and how I get my results. So I want to take you to the point where they walk into the office. Oh, back up a little bit. The way I put this together is that, I was a fairly successful listing agent, and I figured I would just copy what I would do on a listing appointment and would get people to sign the contract. I figured if I did it the same way, that it would work the same way. So if this seems familiar, it's because it's basically the same way when I would walk into a house, how I would go through the house and have that interview with them and then sit down and get them to sign the contract. So it's going to be very similar. So the recruit walks in. So when the recruit walks in, one of the best things you can do is have them fill out a form. Have them fill out a form with their name, how long have they been in real estate, and what their goal would be in that meeting. And you're going to find out a lot from that. And side note, with your office, always make sure that you have something that smells really amazing in your front desk, in your front office portion, because your nose gets introduced to the office before anybody says hi to this person. So making sure it smells good is really important. So a little side note there. So the person comes in, offer them water, have them fill out a form, have them sit down. And then when you walk out there, this is a way I've connected with people. I always ask them, hey, I'm Frank. How are you? Quick question. Have you ever been here before? I don't want to assume that they have just not been here, because you never know. They may have been there as a client. They may have interviewed there in the past. There's a lot of reasons why they may have been there before, unless you've been there forever and you know for a fact this person is. But I always ask, no matter what, have you ever been here before? No. Great. Let me take you on a quick tour, and then we can sit down and chat. And then I proceed to walk them around the office. I do this because environment matters. And if you can sell them on the location, on all the little cool things that your office does, you are already halfway there. So in my office, I'd walk around, I tell them about the office. We have offices on both sides. It goes all the way around. It's like a big square box. And one of the things that I try to do, that I cannot tell you how important this is I try to make them laugh. Try to say something funny. And all the time while I'm walking around, I'm trying to figure out who they are, trying to talk to them, trying to get little things out of them to kind of feel like, who am I dealing with here, instead of just sitting down cold. Hope that makes sense. So I say, offices, and we walk by a conference room. I go, this is a conference room where you can meet with clients, you can meet with other agents. And then outside of my window, there's all this construction. I say, the never-ending construction on Wilshire Boulevard, and sometimes they'll make a joke, sometimes they'll laugh, sometimes they won't. I'll walk them around, and then I'll point out all the really cool things that are going to be beneficial to them. Like, we have computers on the back wall. We have some private booths so you can make some phone calls in privacy when nobody bothers you. And then we have some fun things. I mentioned the fun things. We have an air hockey table, doubles as a pool table, triples as a ping pong table, if you're into that. And always trying to engage with them. Talk to them about our team meeting room. I go, this is where our team meetings are. We do all of our team meetings on Zoom, and we do them in person. We encourage you to come in. If you can't make it, we record everything so you can never miss a training in our office. And then I go into the training a little bit. I talk about how many trainings we do. We have like 20 different trainings every month. And when I say 20, I mean, this is from, we have a Scott Leroy, we have Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, we have PC coaching, we have a team meeting. So just on average, we do 3 meetings a week with coaching and with the team meeting. And then we sprinkle in other things from there. And I go into detail because a lot of times people want support and they want training and they want something more than where they've come from before. And then I'll walk them around. I will not prep anybody. So if we run into somebody, if we run into the broker, if we run into the PC coach, I go, hey, this is so-and-so. They're just checking us out today. And then I let my people talk because my people know exactly what to say. And if they're like, oh, are you going to join us? I don't care if they say that. That's great. That's great. Engage with them, because if somebody in your office says, hey, oh my God, are you going to be joining us? You're going to get a temperature for that person right then and there on what they think. They're going to say, no, I'm just looking, or blah, blah, blah. If they say, yes, I'm excited, I'm ready to do this. Well, now you just got now it's your appointment to lose, right? I walk them around, and then I walk down the last hallway showing them everything. I go, okay, let's go into my office. Well, back up a little bit. I walk them down there, and if I've been a good team leader and I've done my research, I'll know exactly how long they've been licensed. If I know that they're a new licensee, I'll ask them, how long have you been licensed? They'll say, oh, I just got it last week, or I just got it a month ago. I go, oh my God, congratulations. Are you excited? And we'll see what they say. If they've been at another office and they've been licensed for a while, I'll say, how long have you been licensed? Oh, I've been 10, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Where's your license hung now? I'll try to ask them a few pointed questions. Where's your license hung now? How have you done in the last 12 months? Have you closed anything in the last 12 months? What were your last 12 months of sales? I'll just throw something in there like that if I feel comfortable enough. I'll take it to my office. I'll say, have a seat. Number one question I ask them. Number one, tell me about yourself. This is a very important question. I say, tell me about yourself, and then I will let them talk as long as they want to talk. If they want to talk for an hour, I just let them go. Most people, if you ask them about themselves, they're going to tell you everything you need to know to recruit them, especially if they're a producing agent and they're coming from another office. They would not be sitting in front of you if they weren't ready to sign with you. 100%. If they're in your office, sitting in front of you, you are like 75 to 80% there. So I ask them that. I let them talk as long as they want to talk. Maybe we engage in a few conversations. I'm looking for commonalities, things that connect us, things that I've done that they've done, places I've been, places they've been, just like a listening appointment. When I walk around a house on a listening appointment, I'm looking for connections, something to make me like you, you like me, that kind of thing. So the next question is just as important. The next one is what most team leaders and managers do not ask their people. And I say, when somebody comes and meets with me, I say, pay attention to the questions they ask you, because most people are more concerned with their goals and not with the recruit's goals. So I ask them, so let me ask you this. Say in a perfect world, in the next 12 months, what would be a perfect 12 months for you? At the end of the day, how much money would you have to make to be really, really happy? Now, I ask that for a very specific reason, and some people will say money is not important. This is not about money. I'm going to be training and blah, blah, blah. It's always about the money, and you have to know your goals. So I try to get them to answer that question as easy as possible. Some people won't, but that speaks to motivation. So when they don't answer that question and it's not about the money, it's usually a little harder to recruit. And I try to emphasize support and training in our office so they know that they don't have to worry about that. So I try to get them to ask. Now, with a new agent, most of the time, 90+% of the time, their goal is 100 grand. I want to make $100,000, $150,000, something like that. I go, great. If it's a producing agent, it's usually double of whatever they're doing now. So if they're doing 250, they want to make 500. It's usually something like that. So the third question I ask them is very important. I ask them on a scale from 1 to 10, you can't say 7. If I can show you in writing hardcore numbers right now in this meeting, if I can show you how you can do that and maybe more, in the next 12 months, how likely would you be to sign with us? Every time, no matter who it is, they say 8, 9. Very, very often I get a 10. When they say 10, I go, get the paperwork, and I make a joke. But every now and then, most of the time they'll say 8 or 9. I'll go, great, I have 2 points to make up, I got this, right? And they'll be like, haha. And then I go into, here I'm on Wilshire Boulevard, I don't know if you can hear the sirens. I say, okay, why don't we do this? I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll go into the numbers and our system that we have that's going to help you get you to your goal. How does that sound? They go, great. So I go into the story of myself. You should always have a story about yourself or a story about somebody that helps get you to where you're at, to show that you are similar to them, that you went through struggle. So when I tell them where I was born, I tell them about all the little things that I did that led me up to becoming a real estate agent. And then after I tell them I become a real estate agent, I get really detailed about the struggles I had when I began. And then I tell them the struggles I had, and then I tell them about the successes I had. The successes are really important because they have to be able to see that they can do it too. They have to be able to see that somebody struggled, somebody had a hard time, and that they were successful. So I go through all of that. I may put this in a different video because that story is a little bit longer. It's about a 15-minute story, and I don't want to bore you with it. But I go through my story. I go through how I got my real estate license. I was in the military. I was a police officer. I moved to California. I got my license. I went to college, didn't do that job, got my license, and was Rookie of the Year. I was Rookie of the Year, and I did $165,000 in my first 6 months of real estate. But then I tell the story on how I coached the next Rookie of the Year. And then I had a Rookie of the Year in 2020. And then I had a Rookie of the Year for the last year. And all of these little things that show them, give them the evidence that I can help them get to where their goal is. You should craft something like that. So if it's not you that did this, find somebody in your market center to do this. Find your team leader, your OP, your PC coach. Find some story that connects you to them. And then after I get through me and say all these things about me, I say, I have 3 questions. I have a couple of questions I can ask you to figure out what your potential is. Would you like to do that? They go, yes. I go, great. How many people do you know in the entire world? And they go, some people will say 5,000. Some people will say 50. The average person knows about 300 people. So regardless of what these people say, so if I had a 50-year-old agent that said, I know 40 people. I'm like, so you know less than one person a year the entire time you've been alive? And I try to make a joke out of it. And I'm like, everybody you know in LA, everybody you know in the United States, everybody you know in the world, because we have agents all over the world, all those people count. I just know they have to be people that you know, that even if it's been 5 years since you talked to them, that you could call them and they know who you are. Those people count. I'm trying to get to them and help them understand what their sphere of influence is. So sphere of influence really quick. Sphere of influence is your family, which is your first sphere. That's 5 to 10 people on average. And then your best friends and your board of directors, your people that are really close to you. And then you have your community, and then you have your network, and then you have your audience, and you have your strangers. You have all of these people. All of those people, that is your sphere. Your sphere has different layers to it. Most people don't understand that. So if I have to explain that to them in this process, I do. But I say the average person knows about 300 people. So if they go 500, if they go 200, I go, let's do 200. Let's go to 200 and see what that looks like. Or if they go 500. So your market in your area is going to be different. You can manipulate these numbers how you see fit. But I'm going to just go with 300 because that's the average. You can always go back to 300 because that's the average amount that I came up with statistically. I don't know who proved it, but that's what I came up with. So statistically, the average person knows about 300 people. Also, statistically, it's proven that 6% of everybody you know is going to buy, sell, or refer business out. I explain that to them. And then I tell them that my coach, which he did, told me it's 10%. And then my team did 13%. So I try to rationalize why I'm doing 6%. And then I do them 6 times 300, that's 18. So the average person can do 18 transactions in the next 6 to 12 months. So what does that look like for you? So the average sale in my office is 1.5 million. So that's going to be a huge number. It's $37,500 for 2.5% commission. And I just do the math, 37,500 times 18. Gross commission income is that, which is some ridiculous number. So I asked them, this is an average. Don't freak out when you see it. It could be more, it could be less. But if you made this in the next 12 months, would you be happy? 99% of the time, they say, yeah, absolutely yes. So if you're in a lower price point market, try to figure out what these numbers are that can help you so you're not doing these numbers and they hurt you, if that makes sense. And so right then and there, there's a really good chance I already have them. And then I say, do you have any questions? And I let them ask me questions. I love questions. The number one thing that I get asked is, do you have leads? And that's when I go into the sphere of influence and I talk about the 300. I'm like, you already have leads. 99% of agents get all of their business from their sphere of influence, people they know, people that refer them business, so on and so forth. So my job is to show you where to get those. And then if they keep pressing the leads part of it, I let them know we have 4 sources of leads for you that we have one of our business partners can help you with, which is expired listings, circle prospecting, divorce listings, and notice of defaults. Those are the 4 that I can give them other than their sphere of influence. Rarely do I go down that road. Ask them if they have any questions, and then I ask them, do you know much about Keller Williams? What do you know about Keller Williams? A lot of times they're like, well, I know blah, 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 or I know blah, 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 or I don't know anything. I go, great, can I tell you a little bit about Keller Williams? I go into Keller Williams and I say, I started off with, we're the number 1 company in the entire world when it comes to real estate. We're number 1 in this, 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 and I rank all the things that we're number 1 in. I say the one that's probably most important to me is that we're the number 1 largest company in the entire world with almost 200,000 agents, which means if you have somebody that lives in Mongolia or Spain, we probably have an agent there to help you, and a referral check is the best check to get. I say we're number 1 in listings, number 1 in buyers, number 1 in volume, number 1 in all of that stuff. And I tell them, this is usually what gets people. I tell them, I say, the coolest statistic we have is probably that we're the number 1 training company in the world over all industries. And we've been ranked number 1 so many times that we're in the Training Hall of Fame, which I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm trying to make a joke. And I tell them, I go, Jiffy Lube is number 2. Like if you want to go change oil, I guess you go there. But we're in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, if you want to be successful, we have people who have never sold a house become successful. And then if you've sold 1,000 houses, we have training for everybody here. I try to answer questions after that. And then at that point, I kind of let the appointment go where it goes. I'd say 30% of the time they leave without signing up, or I'd say 20% of the time they leave without signing up and they go interview other people. The success that I've had with them meeting with 4 or 5 people and then coming back and signing up to me is tremendous. And I am in probably the hottest recruiting market in the nation, in my opinion, because I have the number 1 recruiting person in the company in Beverly Hills. The Hollywood Hills, the Santa Monica, they're really tough markets where I'm at, market centers where I'm at. So I have a lot of success with that. And then it becomes down to the person and connecting with that person. And then if they don't sign up, the number 1 thing you have to do is follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, even if they sign up somewhere else. They sign up somewhere else, follow up with them, because I cannot tell you how many times I get people after they sign up somewhere else and those people promised them something and didn't deliver. So that is really, really super important. I always give them an MREA book, no matter what. I say, hey, have you ever seen this book before? If they have and they have it, which is on occasion that happens, I give them the 1 thing book. I always let them leave with the book with my business card and make sure that they have it. That's really about it. I mean, that's really, really about it. I'm pretty aggressive about it. If you want to hear my whole spiel about myself and how I talk about myself, let me know in the comments below or send me a message and I'll be more than happy to talk about it. But that's really it. Answering questions and then the aggressive follow-up afterwards, aggressive follow-up and frequency. I cannot tell you enough. If you're like, oh, I don't want to bug them too much. No. Don't worry about bugging them. If they're not going to join you, they're not going to join you. Might as well hit them hard. The one thing I got from my competitor and the number one guy over in Beverly Hills is the reason his numbers are what they are is because the amount of follow-up and the aggressive follow-up that they do. When I say aggressive, I don't mean mean. It's very helpful. It's very like just a ton of stuff, resources, everything. If you do that with your entire pipeline of recruits, you are going to get more people than you think. So make sure you follow up. You're aggressive with the follow-up, and see if those tips help out. Sound good? Thanks for being here. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.